Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to Crypto Lion. I am Crypto Lion himself. Today's video is going to be my 2019 price prediction for coin number 2, XRP. Something that I am very enthusiastic about. The coin, the project, how it's going to revolutionize transfers, cheap payments, connecting everybody together. So let's get started with XRP. And once again, for everyone listening, this is my opinion. This is not financial advice. Please do your own research. I'm not advising anybody to go and FOMO into the market and buy up XRP, but these are my predictions for 2019. So let's take a look at XRP at the moment. Sitting at 29 pence, market's down today. Again, I think I mentioned this morning about Christmas, so it's 37 cents. I think it hit about 46 cents yesterday, the day before, so it's down about 9 cents. So XRP has been around for, I think, 3-4 years. Let's go back how far it's been all time, from 2014, so around for nearly coming up to 5 years now. It hit its peak, I think it was around January, December, January, where it hit $3.23, roughly £2.50, £2.60, and this was based on the news that Coinbase, the one that everybody loves, was going to list it, and there was a lot of FOMO, me included, and everybody was buying up XRP. Obviously, that's not happened. And we'll go on to talk about Coinbase and the partnerships that XRP have. So obviously, let's take for the fact that last year XRP, or at the start of this year, got to around $3.30, £2.50, with little investment by the big whales, the big people, the investment banks, the hedge funds, the Goldman Sachs, the Fidelities, the BlackRocks, and it hit a market cap of 125 billion, with a 25 volume of 2.4 billion. So obviously nothing to be scoffed at. So bear that in mind. The fact that it hit $3.23, and there was little institutional investment. So coming over 2018, it's not been a great year for cryptocurrency generally. Not just XRP. Obviously, it's come down around 90% or 80% of its all-time high, but we're still hopeful. I mean, I'm very hopeful about this project. And before I get on to the bits of evidence that I can provide to suggest the price for 2019, like I mentioned in my earlier video, my first video, I come from a banking background, so I somewhat understand what banks look for. And like I mentioned before, I've worked on the trading side, I've worked on the banking side, so I kind of have I believe, a good understanding. And why would banks use XRP? For transfers, for holding. XRP is connected to Ripple, and Ripple is a company. The CEO Brett Garlinghouse is obviously very bullish on, as he should be, on XRP and his own company Ripple. They've obviously had issues over the year about court cases. Some, in my opinion, are just futile. People are trying to say they invested $50 in XRP. The share went down, and trying to take it to court and claim it's a security and expect some sort of compensation or something from the government, something from XRP, and obviously that's been thrown out. I believe it's going to Supreme Court. So that's not really helped XRP, because obviously a little bit of bad news and everybody's just bailing out. But having said that, banks, I believe, really like XRP amongst all the other cryptocurrencies. For example, Bitcoin hasn't got an owner. It's not a corporation. It's not a company. It's not something they can go back and say, apart from developers who are working on Bitcoin, on top of Bitcoin, there's no central point. And obviously, cryptocurrency shouldn't really be about centralization, but on this basis, banks are not going to decentralize overnight and go for their payment method as Bitcoin and everything's going to be Bitcoin. Yeah, they will trade with Bitcoin, but they're not going to use Bitcoin as a transfer protocol. And that's where XRP comes in, and especially XRapid. Now, traditionally banks, you could transfer $50,000, pounds, and you may have already all done this when you're buying a house and you send the money to a solicitor. And it can take a couple of days. You have to go through a lot of checks, and you have to pay, £15 or $25, $30 just for a transfer. Now you've moved forward to 2018, 2019, 2020, where you can make a transfer of the same amount, if not significantly larger, and it'll cost you something like 0.0003 of an XRP. And at the moment, I don't think they even registers as a penny, or if maybe half a penny or half a cent. That's kind of a no-brainer for banks. The other thing is it's instant speed. So in terms of the FX markets or commodities, when you're transferring large amounts of money, you don't want too much fluctuation in FX, foreign exchange, for anyone who doesn't know what that would be. And it's instant. The money's there straight away on the other end. It's confirmed, again, through a ledger. So you can see the transactions all the time, and there's no frauding the system. It's secure as it can never be, and Bitcoin has shown that. So that's kind of the banking side of it, where it's got a face, it's got a company, it's being developed constantly. They're always making changes, improvements. Unlike Bitcoin, obviously, let me get this straight, guys. I love Bitcoin. Bitcoin was the first thing. It will be around for so much time, and whether it will be a digital gold or a currency is to be laid out, or for its future. But XRP is certainly something that the banks and institutions can get right behind, and and that can only increase the price. So obviously next year we've got a lot of banks talking about they're going to start using XRapid. One of the first articles I want to talk about was Western Union, was the fact that Western Union is considering using crypto. Now, if you consider Western Union as one of the main transfer for global payments, this is huge. Now, obviously, if they're going to be using the XRapid system and transferring back and forth, there's going to be a lot of liquidity in the market of XRP. Now, obviously, every time you do an XRP transfer, a bit of XRP is burnt off. So the more transfers we get, the less XRP there is in circulation, which obviously ultimately means the price then goes up. So obviously this article goes on to talk about the fact that they may potentially be using it. It's ready to adopt any kind of currency, but we know they're going to be talking about XRapid because they've been talking, or XRP, and they've been talking about this for about a year now. And obviously the biggest problem with Western Union is that it charges a lot of money for transfers. So it needs to figure out a way where it can still charge around the same amount of money for an international transfer, but it can guarantee it's going to get there straight away, and also have a good history of its payment and where it's gone and where it's going to, and you can see it in real time. So they'll need to figure out how they charge customers, but MoneyGram has not been that warming to XRP as Western Union, but this certainly looks like something which we should keep our eyes on 2019. The next thing is obviously SBI. Now this is obviously one of the biggest banks in Japan, who are extensively going to be using XRapid XRP. So obviously this conversation has been going on since probably about 2017 now, and their CEO Yoshitaka Kitao, hopefully I pronounced that somewhat right, has begun the discussions to create a project R3 using Ripple more extensively. We have already begun discussions to create a project to use XRP for R3. By using R3, XRP is used more extensively. So again, there's evidence here that these are direct quotations from the CEO that they're really bullish on XRP and using it in in their bank. And obviously, we've known for some time there's probably about, I think, 12 or a number of dozens of Japanese banks which are signed up to Ripple or XRP. So obviously, we expect within the next 4 or 5 months to start seeing people actually saying, "Yep, we're using it now," as opposed to hanging on the basis that we are just thinking about it or we're going to use it. Once the first person goes and says, "Yes, we are now using it," the rest will then follow. So obviously, that's a big consideration for where we will be with XRP. And obviously, the main catalyst for the price surge, reluctantly to say, will be Coinbase. We've got news that Binance is using XRP as a base pair now. So I think at the moment there's only one or two currencies there. When I checked the other day, they're obviously going to add more currencies against XRP, and of course that increases liquidity as well. So you'll get a higher pumping through the market of XRP, and obviously you'll see the 24-hour volume go up once all the currencies from CZ or their CEO, is it Chengxing Zhao? I think something like that. CZ is what he's called. Adds more base pairings for XRP, but the main one, I think, the one which is the easiest to use, most user friendly, and has got a very simple app is Coinbase. So you can transfer straight from fiat into XRP, and obviously there was a lot of issues with last year when they launched Bitcoin Cash, when they launched it singular, and I think the price rocketed. I think if you look at the chart for Bitcoin Cash last year when it did launch, I think it went to about $4,000 in oops, look at those charts. I think it reached $4,000, and then they had to freeze the asset from Coinbase, and obviously, as you can see, things started to go down after that. So obviously, Coinbase don't want to do the same thing and be accused of insider selling with XRP. So they're probably going to launch this with a bunch of other coins, similarly what they're doing now with Zcash and BAT and the ones that no one really cares about, in my opinion. But once they do launch XRP, it's a very favorable price against Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash. It's 29 pence or 37 cents. So obviously, I'm hoping they don't launch it alongside Stellar. I would hope they launch it before Stellar, which is probably not going to happen. But once that launches, I think that's going to be a big catalyst for 2019. And hopefully they'll do it within the first quarter of 2019. We don't want to be sitting here this time next year waiting for Coinbase to add it to the listings, which is just annoying. But the good news is they've obviously they've put the list on that these are the potential coins, and everybody's looking at XRP, and why wouldn't you add coin number 2? You have coin number 1, you have coin number 3, you have coin number 4, and then you have random coins that really no one really cares about. So XRP is the one which is going to be listed. XRP is in the comments where I read all the time on Twitter, on other YouTube forums, pages. Everyone is just waiting for XRP to be listed. So where do I see XRP next year? So obviously we reached $3.23 or £2.50 last year. We've hit some lows this year, but we're going to surpass $3.23. It had a market cap of what is it sitting now? So the market cap now is around 12 billion, and if we look at the market cap, I think it was 125 billion. Was it? Yeah, 128 billion at $3. I can easily see that five-folding and hitting around $500-600 billion, which will give a rough price of $15 to $20. I've seen people talking higher than that, talking around $25 to $35, and even some crazy suggestions of $589, which is a complete wacky theory that it's not going to happen next year, or possibly the year after, you would have to need a multi-trillion-dollar XRP for that. At the moment, I don't think there's that much money in the world for a $589 XRP. $100 maybe, and but a reasonable bet, and all the news we have is roughly between a $15 to $20 XRP. $3, I can see that happening easily. $10, yes, it's going to get to $10. Only on the basis of the fact that once we had this news of people actually using XRP and using XRapid, and we can see that the volume increasing, and that's only going to increase the burn rate, and then you're going to get a lot of FOMO into the market, because obviously once people start using it, it's not going to rocket up the next day. We want a gradual increase. We don't want what happened last year. We don't want prices just shooting on a straight line. It's just going to cause a correction. So we want gradual increase, and people will FOMO into the market, which is a good thing, but we just don't want people bailing out of the price drop. So we need strong hands. We don't want weak hands in this market, and we're all here to make money, so let's keep it that way. So yeah, that's my predictions. Let me know, guys, what you think, and if you've got any comments, please message me, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.